Okay, so today's lesson is 7.3 notes, choosing the most useful measure. So, step 1, calculate the measure of central tendency. When we're talking about central tendency, another word would be landmark. Okay, so when we're talking about central tendency and landmark, we're talking about finding the mean, median, mode, and range. So make sure that you know that when we're talking about central tendency, we're talking about 4 things. Okay, step 2, you use the one that fits the situation the best. So you need to read the story and figure out which one of these landmarks you would use to answer the question. So number 1, it says the following number represents the number of text messages that Ashley sent in the last 7 months. She wants to convince her parents that she really doesn't send that many texts. Should she use mean, median, or mode to describe the text? So here it says that she wants to convince her parents that she really doesn't send that many texts. We want to know, do we want a big number, a small number, or just like a medium number? Well, if she really doesn't send that many texts, means that we want a low number. Okay, so now we have to explain why. So under mean, the first thing we do is you have to add up all the numbers. So you should be able to do the mean, median, and mode for 67, 55, 72, 66, 58, 66, and 40. So go ahead and figure that out, and when you're ready, you can go ahead and push play. So you should have said, first step for the mean was to add 67 plus 55 plus 72 plus 66 plus 58 plus 66 plus 40, and you would have gotten the answer of 424. The second step is to divide. So you should have divided by 424 divided by 7, and 7 because there's 7 different numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 goes into 42 6 times, which is 42, subtract, and 0. Bring down the 4. Anytime you bring down a number, you have to divide. 7 goes into 4, it does not. So that's 0, subtract, and you get a 4. Add your decimal and 3 zeros. 7 goes into 40 5 times, which is 35, subtract, and you get a 5. Bring down, 7 goes into 50 7 times, which is 49, subtract, and you get a 1. And the last number, 7 goes into 10 once. This 1 is going to tell this 7 to stay, so the mean would be 60.57. Now, if you forgot how to do median, median is the middle number. So it means that you have to write the number left to right from smallest to the biggest, or minimum to the maximum. So the smallest number started is 40. Then you have 55, then you have 58, then you have 66 twice, then you have 67, and then 72. And count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 numbers. Cross out left to right, and the median is 66. The mode, remember, means most occurring. So the most occurring number would be 66. Okay, now look at the direction. It says she wants to convince her parents that she really doesn't send that many texts. Which one is the smallest number? 60.57, 66, or 66? Well, it would be the mean. Mean would be the smallest number. So here you would say she would use the mean because it is the smallest number. Okay, let's look at number 2. Number 2 says, Jessie wants to buy a new sweater. She found 10 for the following prices, and you can just read the numbers. If Jessie wants to know the price for a typical sweater, is mean, median, or mode the most useful measure? Okay, So you could figure out the mean, you could figure out the median, and you can figure out the mode. But I'm going to show you just a clue here. If you see the word typical, typical usually means to find the mean. Okay, so if you see the clue word typical, that means to mean. But here is the extra but. You need to look at the numbers. Is there an outlier in your number? There is an outlier. If there is an outlier, do not pick mean. Don't pick mean if there is an outlier. In the data. Because what happens is the outlier makes this problem go higher than it actually is. Because if you look at it, every number is less than 50. But with the number 98, it throws it off, where if you actually found the mean, it would be close to, it would be in the 50s or in the high 50s. Okay, mode, it means most occurring, so it wouldn't help us at all. So really the best choice would be the mean. And the reasoning why is you would choose median because there is an outlier in the data. So here there's really no work to be shown. You just have to explain why you would choose median. Let's look at the last page, back side. So Mrs. Marion's grandma lives in North Dakota. Last week the daily average temperature was as follows: -8, 0, 9, 12, -25, 3, and -5. What are the mean and the median for this set of data? Which measured central tendency should grandma use to convince her granddaughter it is not too cold to visit? So go ahead and figure out what the mean and the median is, and then when you're ready, you can go ahead and push play. All right, to find mean, I personally would do this step. So the first step is to add up all the numbers. I would add up all my negatives, -8, -25, and -5, and you get the total of -38. Then I would add up all my positives. You have 0, 9, 12, and 3. And you get 24. Okay? So now you have a positive and a negative number. You know you have to subtract. So 38 minus 24 is equal to 14. But 38 is negative because you're a bigger number, so 14 has to be negative. That's your first step. Your second step to find mean, remember, is you have to divide. You take your -14. How many numbers did you divide by? Hopefully you had said 7 because there's 7 numbers. 0 is considered a number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So ask yourself, do you win or lose? Well, you lose, and then divide and you get 2. So here the mean is -2. Median, remember, is the middle number, so you have to write it from least to greatest. So -25, -8, -5, 0, 3, 9, and 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Cross out left to right, and the median is 0. So now the question says, which central tendency should grandma use to convince her granddaughter it's not too cold to visit? Well, she would use median because 0 degrees is warmer than -2 degrees.